Hi there, and welcome to the Good Enough Battle Companies podcast. My name is Chris Piercy. This is episode 2. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking all about the hero pass. But it's not me by myself. When I say we, it's myself and Stephen Manson Kelly of When I Can Hobby. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. I'm doing very well. very, very long day, but happy to be here.
Nice to just relax at the end of the day and just talk about the rules in a certain game that we play. I mean,
Yeah.
what could be more interesting for us and for anyone who happens to be listening, right?
Yeah, no, that's it. No.
Perfect way to wind down. Um, Now, if you listen to episode 1, you'll be well aware that whilst we are talking about Middle Earth strategy battle game battle companies, we are not using the rules as they were printed by Games Workshop for all of the reasons listed in episode 1. So when we're going through the hero paths in just a minute, a few of them will sound familiar, but there will be some which you may not have heard of before. And there's actually 14 hero paths in the community rules, as opposed to 8 in the original ones. And basically, what they did was they took a lot of the paths and then split them up into a couple of different paths because the hero paths were just, quite frankly, overpowered. So. Yeah, I'm not. I promised myself today that I'm not just going to start bitching about how badly put out the battle company's rules were originally. I'm not going to do that today. We're just going to talk about how good the community rules are. So, do you want to talk about how upgrades work, or shall I do it? Entirely up to you.
I think if you can start rolling with it,
Yep.
because I've been a little bit preoccupied with a different game system, so I'm getting back
Yeah,
into
you've
it.
been playing Blood Bowl and all sorts. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah. So what happens is with your battle companies, you'll have some hero models and you have some warrior models. So you'll start with a leader and 2 sergeants. Those will be heroes, and the rest will be warriors. And you can promote the warriors up to being heroes. The way that upgrades work is different depending on whether you're a warrior or a hero. So throughout the game, you get experience points. So you get an experience point for taking part, an extra experience point if you get a kill. You get multiple for kills if you're a hero. You only can get 1 per game if you're a warrior. And every 5 experience points you get allows you to upgrade. So with the warrior upgrade, you roll a dice, a d6, and on a 1, 2, or 3, nothing happens. You carry on as you were. On a 4 or a 5, you are promoted. Now, this is different in the community rules to the original rules. If you have in your what's it called? In your company, there are advancements. Now, if there is something for your model to get advanced to, then he will advance up to that. So, for example, I think a Rohan warrior will upgrade to a Rohan warrior on a horse,
That's it, yeah.
or a rider of Rohan, or something along the lines of that. So that's what happens if it's a 4 or a 5. Or if you roll a 6, he becomes a hero in the making, which means that he will get a point of fate, and also it means that future upgrades will be done on a hero path. Have I explained that well enough?
Yes, indeed, yes.
Okay, now with your hero models, what happens is same thing in terms of the amount of experience points, and it's that every 5 gets you a new upgrade, but rather than just seeing if you kind of advance or whatever, you actually roll on a table to see what you set yourself down a certain path. So you might be path of the warrior, path of the duelist, path of the sorcerer. Basically determines what sort of warrior or hero that you are, and then you get different upgrades based upon that kind of area that you're living. Now, there are a number of things which are the same on all of them, or have the options on all of them. So, do you want to talk about what they are, Stephen?
The ones that are the same across them. So you've got courage. So the hero may increase their courage value by 1 up to a maximum of 5. You've got the attacks and wounds. So when you roll on that one, you can either choose to increase your attacks or your wounds. Again, that is up to a maximum. What is that?
That will change depending on the path, the attacks and wounds on the. So just to throw that in.
Then you got strength and defense. So same again, they can either increase their strength or defense again when they're rolling that one. And you have it's the fight or shoot, and they can increase their fight value or their shoot value. And then you have is it might and will is the same as well, isn't it? Yeah, might and will. So you can gain a might or will points again. So they're all the same ones that you've got. So that they are. If you roll, let me just double check that. If you roll, basically 4, 5, 6, 8, 10, yeah, those numbers there. That's those ones there.
Tends to be those ones, yeah. So
yeah,
basically, we wanted to talk about those just briefly, because they are pretty much the same on every single path. I mean, some of them are slightly different, but we want to be able to go through each path without stopping and saying what each one is. So let's go. Number 4 is courage. So let's kick off by going through the paths. So do you want to start off by talking about Path of the Warrior, which is kind of one of the it's like a staple one of the of your company sometimes.
So no, that's it. So yeah, you have Path of the Warrior. That is, well, again, it was in the original set as well. Path of the Warrior. So are we going through the improvements on it? What we have on there?
Should we, I'm just going to go down the numbers, then we'll talk about each one. Or just go down the numbers, and then we'll talk about each rule afterwards. See, we're well planned for this.
Yeah, completely well planned. Like, we didn't just put this together. No, so basically, Path of the Warrior, the improvements, the ones that aren't the standard ones are you get heavy impact, oblivious to pain.
So 2 is heavy impact, 3 is oblivious to pain.
3. There we go. 7 is deadly strength, and then you go 9 is boldest of the bold. 11 is heroic strength. And 12 is heroic presence. So, starting from the top, heavy impact. Number 2. So if you get that, the hero may re-roll 1 to wound roll per combat. So it's just a nice, easy one there. It just helps you out again,
re-rolling a wounding roll is, particularly if they've been a warrior for a while and they've got their strength up and they've got, maybe they've got the burly special rule already. Then that's pretty awesome. I mean, it's yeah.
It's one of those ones that could be make or break in a combat, isn't it? At the end of the day, you could be in a combat and you just need that extra wound. So it does. It is a handy one to have. Although
the pain.
Yeah. So no, the next one there. If you roll oblivious to pain, so this one I do each time this hero suffers a wound, roll a d6. On a 6+, the wound is ignored. So exactly the same as if a fate point has been spent, So it's just a handy thing. It saves your fate points.
It's great. I mean, I had I'm not sure if I've ever rolled it. I might have rolled it, but when we played the Farharad against Rohan Battle Company's thing, my leader with the company's rule for Farharad is oblivious to pain, and you can just. Sometimes you can get lucky and just save a whole bunch of wounds. So it gives your hero real staying power, which is just I mean, and
it's an extra save at the end of the day, isn't it?
Never going to be a bad thing.
No. So you have that. Then obviously you got the courage, the attack, wound, the strength, defense. Then on 7th is deadly strength. The hero gains the burly special rule. This one I love. The burly special rule. Additionally, the hero may now purchase a 2-handed weapon from the armory, even if they could not previously. So I had this with one of my warriors. It was Lance, and he got a double-handed axe, and he became phenomenal with a couple of extra attacks and his defense going up. He was unstoppable. It was brilliant.
he was a bit of a killing machine. He was frequently your best player. What I love about what they've done with the community rules here is they've obviously a 7 on 2 dice is the most likely thing to be rolled. So what they've done with all of them is they've kind of pushed they've made something at 7 which really, really fits with the idea. So if you've got a warrior, I mean, of course they're going to have a burly special rule. So burly, if you're not sure, is when you use a 2-handed weapon, Normally you have a -1 penalty to your duel roll and +1 to wound. Now you just get +1 to wound, so you just can go double-handed every single time and get +1 to wound.
Yeah.
With no penalty. So it's great.
No, it was beautiful. It was, and it's definitely something I love the idea of trying to get. Next is fight. So that's 8 on the 9.
Fight up to a maximum of 6.
Yeah.
Fight 6 is just filthy, but yeah.
No, it's beautiful. Again, not one of my top ones to get, but it's still a handy one, isn't it? Like, I mean,
fight is just make or break sometimes, especially if you've got like, you're going to be fighting against elves or something like that. It's like, Jesus, yeah.
Elves are disgusting. We don't like elves.
Elves.
So the next is 9, the boldest of the bold. When charging an enemy that causes terror, the hero receives a +2 bonus to their is that courage value? Sorry, to their courage value. Additionally, the hero receives a bonus of +2 to their courage when models with the Blades of the Dead special will make strikes against them. I haven't actually had this one before, so.
So you have mine's gone blank. Dead Marsh Spectres and warriors, or spectral warriors, they have Blades of the Dead, which means that you roll against the person's courage rather than their defense.
Oh wow!
So it's basically it makes it one dice roll harder. So
yeah,
to wound, because if it was strength 3 on courage 3, then it would be a 4 to wound. But threes on 5s would be a 5. So yeah, it makes it a bit more difficult to wound.
A bit more tricky to wound there. So, and then you got on the 10 is might or will. On the 11th is heroic strength. The hero may now use a heroic strength heroic action in addition to others they have access to.
See, this is the one thing I don't like on this Path of the Warrior is the heroic strength. I mean, it fits the profile, but I've rolled this a whole bunch of times. I really can't remember any time that I've ever used it, because I think that might is such a valued commodity that you'd have to be in a real niche situation to have to use heroic strength. But I feel like when you're rolling 11 on your progression, which is obviously really, really rare to get, then you want something amazing that you're going to use. I mean, it should be as good as Oblivious to Pain, but I just don't see that it is. But anyway, that's just my gripe about it. But number 12, I love.
Yeah, so number 12 is Heroic Presence. So at the beginning of each fight phase, the hero may attempt to declare heroic combat without expending a point of might, requiring a dice roll of 4+. So on a 4+, he gets the Heroic Presence. If this roll is unsuccessful, the heroic action goes undeclared unless the player decides to otherwise spend a might point. So, I mean, it's just
50-50 chance of a free heroic combat. It's amazing if you remember that you've got the rule. And God knows how many times I forgot that I've had it in the past.
There's been whole times when you get to the end of it and you're like, I had that.
It gives you such a powerful option, because especially if your opponent knows that you've got it and knows there's a 50-50 chance you're going to get that free, that's an incredible thing to have to tactically think about, because him and all his mates could go from the one fight they're in to another one.
Yeah.
So
and when you have used it, it's been disgusting.
Yeah.
You literally just go through. You've gone through 2 or 3 warriors, just like bash, bash, bash.
Yeah.
And especially in the battle company when you've only got 6 or 7 to start with, it's filthy. It is.
Yeah, I mean, it's a overall Path of the Warrior, really, really solid path. I mean, it's the sort of thing where you go, I'm not really sure what path to put this new hero in the making on. It's like, you can't really go too far wrong with Warrior.
It's a pretty solid one. And to be fair, I think I always have a Path of the Warrior in my battle company to start with every time. I always have one.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really go wrong with it. Now, bringing us to Path of the Duelist. On a 2, you get parry, 3 hero slayer, 4 courage, 5 attacks wounds, 6 strength defense, 7 blade master, 8 is fight value, 9 is weapons expert, 10 is might or will, 11 is heroic strike, and 12 is blood and glory. So starting off with what I genuinely believe to be the filthiest rule in the whole game, parry. I hate it. I mean, if I've got it, it's great. I mean, my opponents have got it. So parry. The hero may force an opposing model to re-roll 1 die during the dual roll after any other re-rolls, but before might. So, yeah,
you could have won. You could have won the battle. You could have won the fight, and then to do parry, and it costs nothing to do it, and then you've literally lost the fight. It's that simple. So it's not a re-roll you want, is it?
Yeah, it's the. So the amount of times that I've been playing against people with this, and you roll a 6 and go, cool, I've won that fight, then they go, parry, and you re-roll and get a 1 or a 2 or anything less than what they've got, and you're like, well, even if I had re-rolls, which I haven't, I can't re-roll that because you can't re-roll a re-roll. So like I said, it's probably the dirtiest rule in the game. So it's great if you've got it, it's horrible if your opponent's got it. Hero Slayer. The hero gains a +1 when rolling to wound against hero models when making strikes. Especially if you've got a few other things going on as well. If you've got like some increased strength as well, then +1 to wound heroes. Love it. And a really, really nice way of changing things up, because I think the whole thing about Path of the Duelist is it's your warrior your hero who exists to kill other heroes. I think that's what it's all about, I think.
Yeah.
So 4, 5, and 6 don't need to talk about. 7 is Blade Master. So the hero may re-roll a single d6 when making a dual roll. So if you've got Blade Master and parry, you can re-roll one of your own dice and then make your opponent. So
yeah, it's disgusting. It's beautiful. It's beautiful when you got it. I've never actually had a duelist, and I'm tempted with my next battle company to have one. So
yeah, I mean there isn't really a downside to it. It's one of the best ones, I think. 8 is fight value up to a maximum of 6. Again, 6 is incredible. 9 is weapons expert. Now this is the only one on the duelist which it makes sense, but I don't feel like it's one to get really excited about, but maybe we just don't use special strikes enough. The hero is never considered to be unarmed and may opt to perform any special strike regardless of their weapon's type. Additionally, they may use the rules for shielding even if they do not have a shield. The fact that you can shield without a shield is quite cool. Other than
that's
that,
nice.
It's like, we never do stab, we never do feint. Occasionally I'll throw in a piercing strike, but maybe we should do more of that. Who knows?
We should try it.
Yeah, we should try it. 11 is heroic strike. Again, perfect hero killing material. If you start fight 4 and you're against somebody who's got up to fight 6, and you can strike up to become fight 7 or 8 or 10, then amazing. It's obviously only for 1 turn. And then Blood and Glory is the top one on this, which means that you regain a point of might that you've lost earlier in the battle if you kill an enemy hero. So it's a way to get might back again. So
nice.
If you're 1 short on your wounding roll, you can use your might to make that a wound and then get the might back again.
So it's just a constant having a free might, isn't it?
No, against heroes, yeah. So it's slightly niche. In the fact it has to be used against a hero, but I mean, Path of the Duelist, probably one of the best paths. So, yeah. Do you want to talk about the Ranger?
Yes, so this one is Path of the Ranger. So this is one that I've used with my Rohan. It didn't work as well, basically because of the strength of the bows, but I'm definitely using it on my Uruk High next time round. So Path of the Ranger, first one is Expert Shot. What is Expert Shot again?
You can fire twice in the same in one shoot turn, and
nice,
can be at different targets.
Yeah. Then the next one is Seasoned Archer. The hero may still fire their bow even if they've moved their full move allowance, or their crossbow if they have moved up to half of their move allowance. So that's just lovely. That is. So normally just shoot. If you don't move, it's normal. If you move half your move, it's -1, isn't it? And then after that, you can't shoot. So what's nice with Seasoned Archer is you can run about the place and still shoot. I love that one. Next one is Courage. So 4, 5, and 6. We don't need to talk about Courage, Attack, Wound, Strength, and Defense. Number 7 is Pinpoint Shot. The hero may reroll to wound rolls of a 1 when making shooting attacks. It's handy. But still, if you roll a 1, so
it doesn't increase. I mean, it changes your thing from like 1 in 6 to 2 in 11, like, or something like that. So it's not. It doesn't change it massively, but it's handy.
Yeah, when
it works, it's like that's beautiful, but don't expect it to work all the time.
Yeah, so no. Next one is Fight Shoot, and then 9 is Master of the Wilderness. The hero is not slowed by difficult terrain or any type and may reroll any jump, climb, leap, or swim tests. Again, it gives this idea. It literally makes you think Legolas, like running around with a bow, isn't it? Like, you get this, and Seasoned Archer as well. Yeah. 10 is Might Will. 11 is Master Archer. The hero may declare a heroic shoot each turn without expending a point of might. Again, lovely one.
I mean, that's can be really, really useful. And then what you'll find with my my fiefdoms is that there's specific rules about what. So with my Black Root Veil Archers, whatever they're called, they get to reroll their in the way tests if they're shooting under heroic shoot. So if you get a bunch of archers all on heroic shooting at something where there's something in the way, and they all get to re-roll that, or it might be to wound rolls even. But either way, it's useful. But yeah, heroic shoot would mean you always get to shoot first, which how can that be anything else but very handy?
Yeah. And then Brawler. If the hero is outnumbered during a fight, then he gains a bonus of +1 to fight. To both his fight and attack values. Models that supporting do not count as in the fight for working out if the model is outnumbered.
So this is one of my absolute favourites. It's the Orcish Brawler special rule that one of the Orc heroes has got. I forget which one, but this path I had for one of my Dol Guldur archers. So he's a Hunter Orc, and there was certain situations where he would be fight 6 with 4 attacks at strength 4. So yeah, if I put him in a situation where he was outnumbered, you go up against 2 fight 5 heroes. It's like, yeah, I'm fight 6 now because I've got my +1 to my fight, and with the extra attacks.
So you don't really worry about throwing him into combat.
Well, I think he was only defense 4 or 5 or 4 and then 5, but yeah, I mean this is a really, really solid path. I mean, one of the things that they've done in the community rules here was, if you were to look at the Path of the Ranger is in the original rules, but all of the best shooting rules were in that, and what they've done here is they've split them between Path of the Ranger and the next one, which is Path of the Sharpshooter. So the way I look at it is, Path of the Sharpshooter is for someone who's already at shoot 3, maybe shoot 4. Path of the Ranger is for someone who's not as good at shooting. That's generally how I look at it. So Sharpshooter, they're already good at shooting. Ranger, they've got other things going on. So so Path of the Sharpshooter. So at number 2, you've got Mighty Shot. So for each shot that successfully wounds in the shoot phase, this model inflicts 2 wounds rather than 1. I mean, to be able to cause 2 wounds from distance. I mean, if you've got a 1 wound hero, it's an auto kill. The fate doesn't matter. It's just gone. I mean, that's. I don't think it's ever happened, but yeah. Next, you've got Arcing Shot. The hero increases the range of shooting attacks to 30 inches. So you can just basically be on the other side of the board and just go, yeah, I'm shooting you and you can't shoot me. You had that with one of your guys, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. It was again, the only problem was the strength of the bow. This is the thing, like, it depends what. So I had Rohan bows, and their bows were weak. They strength two.
Yeah,
was
strength 2.
Yeah, so they were. I got everything that I wanted, but meh, I couldn't wound anything.
Yeah, with Farharadul being like defense 5, you were always going to need a 6 to wound. So it doesn't matter how close or far away you are, you're still always going to need a 6, which you either get or you don't. So 4 is courage, 5 is wounds. Notice it's not attack wounds, it's just wounds. Up to a maximum of 3. 6 is just defense, so not strength and defense, just defense. 7 is like your kind of classic steady aim. So this allows you to not suffer the -1 to hit if you've moved. So you can move half your distance and still shoot at the same value as you would anyway. 8 is improving your shoot value up to a maximum of 3. 9. Now this with elves is horrendous. Hunter. The hero has +1 to wound mounts, trolls, beasts, spiders, and other similar creatures with ranged attacks. When targeting cavalry, their hero chooses between the mount and the rider rather than making the in the way check. Oh, with elves, with like strength 3 shooting, you go, right, well, I've got strength 3 shooting, and I'm going to shoot this horse. I'm going to shoot your horse out from underneath you. Thank you very much. Bye, horse.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah. Yeah. I don't know if have you ever faced anyone with Hunter before?
No, I haven't. So
No,
I luckily haven't.
Yeah, and yeah, don't like it. I mean, it's great, so useful. 11 is trick shot. 10 is might or will, and 11 is trick shot. The hero may declare heroic accuracy each turn without expending a point of might. Again, it's a heroic action, and it's can be useful, but it's free, so you might as well. But it's not. I don't think that's something to get majorly excited about, unfortunately.
No.
And 12. This is horrible. The hero may spend a free point of might during each shoot phase. This can either to be improve it to hit, a to wound, or an in the way roll.
So I had this as well.
Yeah, so it's essentially you start off by only if you get up to shoot 3 normally, you're you're always hitting on 2s.
Yeah.
And if you do hit, then you can, it's +1 to wound, or it's just a really, really nice thing they've got at 12 on that one. So those are the 2 main ones. So with Path of the Ranger and Path of the Sharpshooter, you do have to have a missile weapon in order to go onto that path, but I don't know why you'd go onto it if you didn't have a missile weapon. Bringing us to Path of the Skirmisher, which has got some interesting rules on who can take this, so it can't just be anyone.
No, that's it. So Path of the Skirmisher, any hero models that are wearing heavy armor may not embark on the Path of the Skirmisher. Hero models that embark on the Path of the Skirmisher may not gain heavy armor. Only infantry hero models may embark on the Path of the Skirmisher, and they may not gain a mount later if they do so. So it literally is a skirmisher. It's a scout, isn't it? Like, you got to think lightweight, nimble on their feet, and obviously, I mean, I haven't used this one, and there's a couple of rules here you're going to need to jump in on me, but I'll go through it anyhow. But you can see how they've made this work for this in particular. So, roller 2, you get disengage. If it is the hero's turn to move in the move phase, but they have already been engaged by an enemy model, the hero may choose to attempt to disengage. On a 4+, the hero must move 1 inch as if they were backing away, and may then continue their move as normal, which is...
How annoying could it be to face that? Think about it. Just like, I finally got this dude pinned down. Oh, that's a 5. Off I go. Oh, that's a 4. Off it. Just...
just frustrating it is. Like, I mean, the thing is, you're hoping with skirmisher they won't get into that, but they are. Yeah, it's frustrating there. Next is on a 3 is merge into the shadows. If the hero is obscured from view, they cannot be seen or targeted from distances greater than 6 inches.
Just love it. Brilliant.
I mean, so these guys can sneak right up, and 6 inches is not far from if you can get up and close to an objective, like and out of view, like you're just literally straight into the objective on the next turn, aren't you?
Yeah.
Next is fearless. So number 4 on 4, you get fearless. The hero gains the fearless special rule. So what's that, Chris?
So that means that they auto pass all courage tests. So normally on these paths, 4 is courage. On the path of the skirmisher, straight in there with you'd never fail a courage test. And
nice.
How great is that for when your force is broken at the end, or if you're doing the scenario where you've got to kill a troll and people are failing courage tests left, right, and centre, and you can just charge in there. I mean, it's awesome.
The more I'm reading this, the more I think I'm going to use one of these.
Maybe you should have read them before you just randomly chuck people on stuff. But it's
no,
good.
It's good going through this.
good that you're learning.
Yeah. So next is 5 is attack and wound, 6 is strength and defense, 7 is throwing the mastery. The hero gains a free set of throwing daggers, even if they could not normally have them, and improves their shoot value by 1 to a maximum of 2+ when using a thrown weapon.
I mean, this combined with
a thrown spear.
No, this combined with keen sight is incredible. I mean, being able to hit on a 2 with something which is strength 3 as you charge in. I mean, I was playing the other day. I've got a Kana battle company, and my leader's on Path of the Skirmisher, and he's got a whole bunch of the stuff, and he was able to somehow kill a dwarf that was defense 7 with his with a throwing dagger. So they needed a 6 to wound and got it. So hit
wow.
on a 2, hit on a 2, killed on a 6, and then was able to charge into someone else. So yeah, this is really great fun. This just screams ninja, which is why my Kana leader had to have this path.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I know it does. I'm loving it as well. So next, 8 is fight shoot. 9 is keen sight. The model gains the fell sight special rule and ignores the effects of fighting in the dark.
So yeah, fell sight means that you don't need line of sight in order to charge. So what this means is, when I said throwing mastery combined with keen sight, is you can hide around a corner, and then obviously you can't get charged because everyone else needs to have line of sight to charge you, but you can just run around a corner and throw a throwing dagger into someone, hopefully kill them, and then charge into someone else. So it's just so. I mean, when you think about, I don't know if anyone else does this, but when I'm making my moves on the board, sometimes I'm like playing them out in my head as if it's like a cinematic moment. It's like, yeah, my dude's going to come out, he's going to come around the corner, he's going to throwing dagger someone in the face, and then
when I literally thrown dagger and then charge straight into the combat is unreal. It is. I'm literally no. So that's next is 10 is might will. 11th is heroic defense. The hero may now use heroic defense, heroic action in addition to any others they have access to. So
that's heroic defense means you can only get wounded on a natural 6. So
oh my god.
Yeah. So it's useful.
I'm literally about to pull up my Battle Companies list in a second to change one of my guys over to this. I am.
And then it's a cool path. It really is.
And then 12 is natural defense. So the hero may choose one piece of terrain in base contact that is at least 1 inch tall, and then imposes in the way test on one incoming shot or strike per turn before 2 wound rolls are made.
So it's a bit like defending a doorway, but it doesn't have to be a doorway. Or defending across a barrier. Just go, I'm up against this wall, which means that when you try and make your strike, you have to. It's only a 50-50 chance that your strike's going to hit me, like before you even get to wound. So it just makes you that much harder to kill. Just like with the disengage and with the merge into shadows, it's It's
No, this sounds disgustingly beautiful.
I just feel like it's a really cool. I mean, maybe it's not the best one in terms of like killing power or whatever, but it's really cool. I just
I mean,
rules are cool.
Yeah, but to me, literally, it's so thematic. It is. It's literally like it just. It's one of those ones that you're going to spend a game getting your miniature up close and personal, and it could be, it could become the winning strike of a game, like or it's just taking that objective right at the end, like I love it. I do. I absolutely love it.
So in theory, he could have been charged by someone. They could disengage, run round the corner, and then kill two other people that they weren't in combat with. In theory,
I
mean,
love
that's,
it.
That's awesome. It's really cool. I love it. I love it. Onto Path of the Watchman. Only infantry heroes may embark on Path of the Watchman, and they may not gain a mount later if they do so. So this is an interesting one, and it's got some really. I think it's one of the more tactical ones in terms of what's on there. So 2 is Sound the Alarm. The hero's battle company may re-roll ones when rolling for priority. How many times have you rolled a 1 when you really needed to not to for the priority?
Mate, that's that's quite handy. That is.
Yeah. So it doesn't explicitly say this here, but we've always played it. I don't think I've played it with the company that I've got this one, but we've always played it that particular hero has to be alive in order for them to roll the ones. It doesn't actually explicitly say that, so maybe I'll change it next time around. But yeah, that's just such a handy thing to be able to go. It's like, I really need a priority. I can re-roll it.
Yeah,
Doesn't guarantee you anything, but oh man, it can be useful. 3 is Houndmaster. The hero gains a watchdog, using the profile of a hunting dog. In addition, the watchdog is always treated as having each Path of the Watchman special rule that the hero has obtained, e.g., patrol. So you get a free dog. They don't have to go and buy one from the equipment thing. You get a free doggy.
I had a dog. It died.
Well, that's because you charged it in combat.
Yeah. He was.
And the fact that it also gains your special rules as well is awesome.
No.
Mainly assuming it can get the Sound the Alarm one that we just spoke about, and it can also get Patrol, which is the 12 one, which we'll talk about in a minute. 4 isn't Courage, it is Night Watch, which means that they get the Fearless special rule, just as above, but they also get to re-roll on the Sentry chart. So some scenarios you have to roll on the Sentry chart, and then you can re-roll it, which is really really useful because sometimes if you really want that model to become active, and if they've actually fluffed a roll, then you get to re-roll that. So great. 5 is Attacks and Wounds. 6 is Strength and Defense. 7 is Observant, and this is such a different rule. The hero and any friendly models within 3 inches are considered to have double the regular range for any rules that would otherwise limit visibility. For example, Stalk Unseen would be ignored at 12 inches. So we had above on the path of the Skirmisher merge into shadows. They couldn't be seen from distances greater than 6 inches. If they're obscured at all, that would become 12 inches. And not just for them, but for everyone around them. So, for anyone within 3 inches. So tactically, that's really interesting. You can take him and a couple of bowmen, and you've got some guys hiding in the shadows, or you've got these kind of special rules. You can hunt them out. Great. 8 is Fight or Shoot. 9, unusually, and I think it might be the only path this happens on, is Movement. Sort of the only kind of infantry one that gets so extra movement. So 7 inches, and can be improved twice up to 8 inches. So a footman, a foot soldier with 8-inch movement, or even 7-inch movement, just changes positioning so much.
It does indeed, especially if you forget that they've got that.
Yep, it's
playing against him, that is.
Yeah. I mean, you can put yourself 7 inches back, knowing that you can charge next turn, and you can't be charged by your. I mean, it's like when you're playing against something with only 5-inch movement. You have that little bit of advantage. So it's game changer. 10 is Might or Will. 11 Heroic March. The hero may use Heroic March in addition to any other heroic actions that they have access to. This can be massive for particularly with like crossing the board scenarios, or ones where there's multiple objectives. Like if it's important to get there first, which it sometimes is, Heroic March is great. And then the Piece de la Resistance, actually, Sound the Alarm is amazing as well, but Patrol. The hero may declare a heroic move each turn without having to expend a point of might. However, they may not declare with me. So every turn they can just go, yeah, I'm going first. Like, not just that one model, but even so.
Yeah. No, it's an interesting. I don't know what army you would use Path of the Watchman with, because there's quite a. Some of them are quite. It's obviously defense led, isn't it?
It's a very tactical. So what I'm doing a campaign at the moment where I'm Isengard against Defenders of Helm's Deep, and I've got a Shagrat model who is one of my sergeants, and I've got him on the Path of the Watchman because if you know from the books, he's the captain of Kirith Ungol. So he's in a massive watchtower. So being on the Path of the Watchman just made sense.
It does indeed. So no.
Yeah, and I've also got one of my another company with my Kana sergeants is on Path of the Watchman. And he's got the extra movement and Sound the Alarm, so it's just useful, really, really useful rules.
Nice. So going on to the next one is Path of the Defender. Only infantry hero models may embark on the Path of the Defender, and they may not gain a mount later if they do so. The hero gains a free shield when they embark on this path. So that's kind of interesting. So obviously, straight up as defense straight away. Am I right in saying that? Or it looks like
you get a free shield, so it's +1 to your defense. So
straight away off the bat, it increases your defense, So for a starter company, that's not a bad start, So on a roll of 2, you get spiked armor. The hero gains a bonus of a +1 to wound against a model that charges them this turn. So it's charging against their spikes, basically, isn't it? So
you want to charge it, you're going to get spiked.
Yeah. So that's that. On a 3 is Tortoise Formation. The hero and all friendly models within base contact are only wounded by ranged attacks on a natural 6. Nice.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Like Far Harad, one of my sergeants had that.
Yeah.
Him, and then, I mean, that's another one of the reasons that you struggle to wound me with your Rohan is that he got that relatively early on.
Yeah.
And then he could get surrounded by 4 other dudes, and then you could only wound them on a natural 6, so might made no difference.
No, it was hard. It was in the same manner as they were benefiting from heroic defense. Yeah, so that's that. 4 is courage, up to a maximum of 5. 5 is attacks and wounds. 6 is strength defense. 7 is fend off. If the hero shields and wins the fight, they may still make 1 strike at their base strength. So it's just that one. It's just, why would you not just, you'd fend all the time, wouldn't you? Because you still got a, well, if the odds are against you, you fend and you still got a chance of hitting.
Yeah, I mean, particularly if your base strength, with Uruks, if your base strength is 4, you're Far Harad and your base strength is 4, being able to go, yeah, I'm going to roll 2 dice in the fight, and I'm going to, if I can win, I can still make 1 strike at strength 4. So,
might as well.
Why wouldn't you just? It's kind of like having an extra attack, but it's not quite. But yeah,
it was just.
It fits perfectly with the theme of the defender. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna fend you off, and hurt you at the same time.
8 is Fight, and 9 is Bastion. Friendly models that suffer a wound within 3 inches of the hero may select this hero to suffer the wound. Instead, the hero may still use fate points as normal. So,
Yeah, I've rolled this on a couple of different companies. I don't think I've ever employed the rule. I think it's very, very niche. And it's the opposite of the one that Morio have got, where a hero can make a warrior nearby and take the wound for him.
it's like, no, you're having it.
Yeah, so I mean, he can get wounds up to a maximum of 3 on the path of the defender. So, if he's got 3 there, and he's got, he can have up to 3 fate points as well. So, potentially he can get wounded 6 times before he's dead. So, it depends on what else you roll, but it's a cool rule, but it's very situational.
I think that's literally down to the end kind of rule, isn't it? Like, I think it's like, if it was a case there's only a few of you left on an objective, they're at break point, you're at break point. That's the kind of time that comes in handy, isn't it? Like, Then 10, yeah, because you imagine getting it wrong. It's like, yeah, I've got Lonely Warrior. Oh, we'll take the wound. Oh, sorry. My bad. Just lose a hero. 10 is Might, Will, and Fate. So you gain an extra Might, Will, or Fate point.
I mean, I might be right in saying that this is the only path where you roll to increase your Fate. I'm not sure any other paths have got this on. So, I mean, that's cool.
No, it's definitely. I've literally just taken a note on this one as well because I might change another guide to that. And then 11. Bear in mind, guys, I'm still learning this game, and Chris is helping me, so this has helped a lot. So 11 is Impenetrable Defense. The hero may now use the Heroic Defense, Heroic Action in addition to any others. So that's a decent one. So defense. What does that give them?
That means you only get wounded on a natural 6.
There we go.
Importantly, if the hero declares they are shielding when calling a heroic defense, then no might is expended. So if you look at that combined with the fend off rule, you can put yourself in a situation where you're shielding, so you're rolling double dice in your dual roll, and if you lose, they can only wound you on a natural 6. And if you win, then you get to make an attack at your base strength.
Which is that's just it's awesome.
Really, it's a really good rule.
And then 12 is Stonewall Passive. The hero passes fate rolls on a 3+. In addition, when taking a fate roll, if the roll is a natural 5 or better, there is no need to expend a fate point at all. It is free.
And then that's why they can take wounds for other people.
Yeah.
Because fate points are free on a 5+ and passed on a 3+. Yeah. I've never rolled it, but that's kind of why you sign up to it, because it makes them. I mean, there's so many things in this path which makes them flipping hard to kill. It's a good one.
No, I think I again, another reason why I love battle companies is your standard minis get so much out of it, don't they? Like, your standard warriors become something else, don't they? With these paths, so it makes the game so much more interesting.
Yeah. On to Path of the Martyr, which I've tried using a couple of times, but I really am failing to see the point in it. But let me go into it. So it begins with a very the worst thing about it. The hero gains the Fated End special rule when they embark on this path. The hero must roll 2 dice and take the lowest roll when they spend a fate point, and is never considered to have a defense higher than 6. Additionally, this hero will never count as a casualty for the purposes of determining if their force is broken. So, it's a martyr. It's gonna just die for the cause. But yeah, I mean, it changes a fate roll from a 50-50 chance to a 1 in 4. So not. Ooh. Yeah, and so not great start. But there are some. It's got some cool stuff going on. So let me talk through it. So 2 is Bloody Mess. The hero's fight must always be resolved first after heroic combats. Heroic combats, including the hero, act as normal. Additionally, should all enemy in the hero's fight be slain, the hero counts as a 3-inch banner for the rest of the fight phase. So, I mean, that's cool in the situations in which that sort of thing like comes off. So if he charges in and kills someone, and he's got people in a bubble around him, then he becomes a banner for them, so they get to re-roll a dice in the dual roll. So, I mean, that's a really cool thing for your kind of double one roll. 3, I mean, I've never rolled it, and no one I've played with has ever rolled it, so I've not had a chance to experience it. But I'd love it if one of my martyrs had managed to get that, but none of them have.
Yeah.
3 is counter-attack. Whenever a model resolves a strike against this hero and fails to wound, not counting fate, this hero may immediately make 1 strike against the enemy model at the hero's base strength. So that's like it's a bit like Fend Off, but
yeah. So basically, if they failed, then you get to go, isn't it? So, which is handy.
Yeah. So Fearless for 4, so not increasing courage, you just get the Fearless special rule. 5 is attacks, not attacks and wounds. And 6 is strength, not strength and defense. Can only be improved once. 7 is you shall not pass. Sorry, I didn't say that. Shall I? Is it?
Go on.
You shall not pass. Worth it. Interestingly, that's not what he says in the books.
No?
He says you will not pass. Shall not pass feels much better. But anyway, what is this rule? The hero's control zone is only negated if this model would be considered trapped. So, I mean, he creates a bottleneck. Like, if he's in something 3-inch wide and you put him in the middle of it, people aren't getting around him. So,
yeah.
Cool, bit niche, but
yeah, especially like a 4 foot by 4 foot table. Like, what are they going to be holding?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those kind of tactically interesting things where, I guess if he's at the front of an objective area,
yeah,
and you think you can because it's quite often that you'll charge someone in to negate a control zone, and then someone else just runs directly past that person. Well, you don't get to do this anymore with this dude.
Yeah.
If you get into his control zone, is always there until the point where he's trapped.
Yeah.
At which point, he's pretty surrounded anyway. So.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I do quite like that one. Fight value is number 8 up to a maximum of 6. 9 is Death Blow. So this is, I believe, this is a special rule that Haldir has in the full game. If this hero is slain, they may immediately make 1 strike on each enemy model that was engaged with them using their base strength. I mean, what a way to go out.
Oh yeah, you're swinging, aren't you? You're going down swinging, you are.
So yeah, you can get killed and then take out 3 dudes. I mean,
that alone makes it worth it.
Yeah, again, you have. I haven't rolled it, so right. So this is so might and will is 10. The hero may gain even +1 might points, up to a maximum of 6.
Wow.
I mean, most of them on this are 3. Some are 2. There might be a 4 in there somewhere, but yeah, might points up to 6, or will points up to 1. 11, Gauntlet. The hit. Right, this is wordy as hell, and it's very, very themey with the path. But the hero may now use the heroic challenge, heroic action in addition to any others they have access to, and may target any hero regardless of tier. Should the challenge be declined, no might is expended, and the hero gains +1 attack when engaged with the target for the duration of the game for each challenge that was declined this game. So, I'm not too hot on heroic challenge, but basically, it's a thing. It's a rule that's genuinely considered to be a little bit pointless in the main game. I think I can say that fairly comfortably, and people just don't use it. But essentially, it's designed to kind of create cinematic moments where you have one hero facing off against another hero and no other models. So it's basically saying, yeah, be in a fight with just me, and like in the main game, I think you have to spend a point that might to say, yeah, be in a fight with just me, and then the other person just go no, and there's no penalty for them saying no, and you just lost a point of might.
Yeah.
I mean, I might be butchering the wording of it, but that's basically it. And that's why this kind of gauntlet thing is so wordy, because it says, yeah, rather than declining it, well, if you do decline it, yeah, cool, I don't have to spend any might, and when I do get in a fight with you, I'll get an extra attack. So it's basically saying, come at me, bro, or next time I come at you, and I'm going to be even stronger.
Which is just him being just, in short, a bit pissed off, isn't it? Come at me. No. Boy! I'm going to come at you harder.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, and then 12 is just a flesh wound. So this hero ignores the negative penalties and may not die as a result of having more than one broken on an arm wound, leg wound, or battle wound. So, yeah, when you roll to injure, unless you roll a double one and they die, then they're fine always. So,
I see, like with this one, Path of the Master, I don't think this wouldn't be my starting company. This is if I'm into it. I've got a couple, and someone else gets put up onto it. I think I would put them onto Path of the Master, because it's interesting, and certain things I think would be useful, but it's not the be all and end all, is it?
Yeah, I mean, I think that given my experience of playing it, I think I would have to have it as my leader, and because when we play battle companies in general, when we start up a company, we give 2 free upgrades to the leader and 1 to the sergeants, and I think that unless you've got a lot of the rules in the Path of the Martyr, then you
it's not.
Then there's too many negative. I mean, the fated end one is just really. It's just really really tough. So yeah.
So next one is
because basically you're always 1 wound and 1 fate, because unless you roll protected by the valor on your what's it called, injury chart, then you're not going to get any more fate. So,
yeah, no, you've got they are like a one trick pony. Well, they are, yeah, a martyr. They are a one trick pony. They're out to do one thing, So
I mean, until you get lots of might points, I just don't see it being that good. And might is on a roll of a 10, so. Yeah, I mean, it's one of the ones that I feel like, I mean, when they do the next version of this, because this is the first version of it which has been included because they are always updating the community rules over kind of more periodically. I feel like this is one of the ones that's going to be tweaked a little bit. It nearly works, but not quite. Anyway, on to
Path for the General. So when the Path for the General is taken, the hero may now affect other hero models with their stand fast. What's that?
So the stand fast is the models with normally once your force is broken, you take your courage tests, and models within 3 inches or 6 inches or 9 inches or 12 inches, depending on how big your stand fast is, will auto pass. But it's only warrior models. But if you're on Path of the General, then hero models may auto pass as well.
Nice. So, on a roll of 2, you get Battle Veteran. At the end of each game, the hero participates in their battle each game the hero participates in, their battle company receives an additional influence point. So, just straight up, that's just handy for down the line, isn't it? Just a free influence point is always handy. Sometimes when you want to roll a reinforcement and you're 1 short, just to get it for free is pretty good to have. Number 3. on a 3 is Inspiring Presence. A friendly models within 3 inch of the hero count as being in range of a banner. If this result is rolled for a second time, it improves the range to 6 inches.
This is why you take Path of the General, I think. I mean, of all the rules there, I mean, I'd argue that this should be at number 2 and Battle Veteran should be at number 3. Banners basically don't exist in battle companies. I mean, there's equipment, which we'll talk about in another episode, which can allow you to have kind of a banner. So, like, rerolls are hard to come by. So, having a 3-inch or 6-inch banner is game changing.
Again, if you're holding objectives or you're in a position like, with guys near you, that is game changing. It is.
Well, yeah. If you've got 2 lines of warriors charging into each other, and knowing that your general is in the center and you've got 2 guys either side of you, all of them can be re-rolling in their fights.
Yeah.
I'd say that this is that. Like I said, that's the reason why you take the Path of the General, I think.
That's it. Number 4, Rally to Me. The hero may increase the range of their standfast by 3 to a maximum of 12 inches, which is, again, dead handy.
12-inch standfast. End of the game. Be massive.
5, Attack a Wound. 6 is Strength Defense. 7 is Lead by Example. Friendly models within 6 inch of the hero gain a bonus of +1 to the Courage value. So, yeah.
Just like a general should, it really just helps your troops stick around. And then with the +1 to the Courage value, that can be whether you're charging into someone with a terror, or it can be when you're trying to hang around at the end of the game. So, if you've got people who, if you know that you've got these rules, and you general can be close to the rest of your models, depending on what scenario you're playing, then these are game changing. It could be absolutely be the difference between winning and losing.
So that's that. Then 8 is Fight. 9 is Courage.
Courage up
10
to a maximum of 6.
Oh yeah.
6 courage.
He's not going anywhere, is he?
Practically auto pass.
That's it. It is, but I tell you what, I would be disappointed if I rolled a few. If I just got Courage all the way up to 6, great as it is, I'd rather get some of the others first.
Yeah, I know. And Courage always just seems like the really boring role, but it's also incredibly useful.
Yes, it is. Well, it's the end of the game, isn't it? And against big scary models like trolls. 10 is Might Will. 11 is Heroic Resolve / March. The hero may use his Heroic Resolve and Heroic March heroic actions in addition. So they're getting 2 heroic actions to do. So
yeah, the Heroic Resolve. I've never used it. It's to do with.
I'm actually trying to find it.
It's to do with resisting magic spells. And the models around you, I think it creates a bubble around you, where you get an extra resist dice. So it just doesn't really get. I feel like they wanted to put Heroic Resolve somewhere in the hero paths, and this was the only place that it made sense. But what you really want there is the Heroic March. Heroic March is can be absolutely massive, as I said earlier on.
And then the last one on the 2+, the hero gets Master of Battle special rule.
Yeah, so that means that if someone calls a heroic action, if you're, I have to check the range, but I think if you're within 3 inches or maybe it's 6 inches of them, then you can declare the same heroic action for free if you roll a 2+.
Yeah, whenever an enemy hero attempts a heroic action within 6 inch of a model with this special rule, this model may call the same heroic action without spending might. There you go. That's dead handy, that.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't know if it specifically says it, but if they call a heroic strike, I'm not sure if you have to have heroic strike, because it doesn't say you have to have access to that. It means basically, so I know what's going on so well on this battlefield that you're going to call that this heroic action, and I'm going to know what that means and know how to do it. So, very, very fitting with with Path of the General. Yeah, it's a really solid thing for your like a leader to take,
Yeah.
or one of your sergeants. I mean, I would say less so one that you choose for someone later on as they become a hero in the making. But yeah, really solid path for keeping for winning more fights because you've got inspiring presence, and for keeping your models on the board because of the courage stuff. So if you've got a low courage army, like something like goblins, you know, if you've got things that are courage 2, then having a general is basically a must take, I think.
Yeah. No.
Bringing us to Path of the Night. Only cavalry hero models may embark on Path of the Night. If an infantry model wishes to embark on the Path of the Night, they must immediately purchase a mount from the armory. If they cannot, for whatever reason, they cannot choose this path, the hero gains the Expert Rider special rule and may purchase a lance from the armory upon taking the Path of the Night. So we normally say with this that you can have it from the beginning, but you have to spend your first 3 or 4 influence points or whatever it is on buying a horse.
Yeah.
Just because some people, like, sometimes you want to have a knight as your leader, particularly for, like, you know, with like fiefdoms, you've got a knight of Dol Amroth, and it says it has to be your leader. It's like, well, that he clearly has to be a Path of the Night. Then it just makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, going through the options here. So Quick Steed. So the hero's mount increases a movement by 1. This may only be improved twice. And then if you've got a horse that can go 11 or 12 inches, that's...
Sorry.
Are you being rude?
I am. That's what she said.
I mean, fair play. That was a bit of a stretch, that one, but yeah. If you got a horse with an 11-inch penis, is that what you heard?
100%. I did.
100%. You've got 11-inch or 12-inch movement on a horse. You know, it changes. I mean, it means it can cover half the board.
But again, like, it depends. You can get away, you can move around. There's lots of things it can do with that, isn't it?
Yeah. Now, next up is a really cool rule: fearsome charge. While mounted, when this hero charges into combat, they gain the Terror special rule until the end of the turn.
That's just not nice, isn't it? It's just not nice.
I mean, this completely changes how you go up against that particular model. So they charge in, you're like, well, obviously I'm going to counter charge, but then you fail your courage test, and then you're like, no, you're not going to counter charge because you just failed your courage test. It's like, oh, like, I mean, terror is the sort of thing that sometimes it does absolutely nothing, and sometimes it completely flummoxes you. So yeah. 4 is courage, 5 is attacks or wounds, 6 is strength for defense, 7 is horse lord, which means that they can use their fate point to save their horse.
That's right, yeah.
And if you roll it again, then the horse gets their very own special fate point just for them, which is useful because, you know, if you want you want your dude mounted, then rather than fall off your horse and potentially fail your throne rider test or whatever, you can try and save your horsey horse. Useful. Nay, indeed. 8 is fight value. 9 is effortless leap. So whilst mounted, the hero may add 2 to any jump tests they make, which, depending on what scenery you're playing around, this could be really, really useful because because normally if you jump over something, you can only charge on a 6, but now you can charge on a 4. So it changes. I mean, and it also means you're never going to fail to get across as well.
Yeah.
So I mean, a bit niche, but you know, it gives you options, I guess.
It does indeed. The problem is with these kind of niche rules is remembering you have them, because it's literally that's what will happen is you forget you have it, and you fail it, and then halfway through the battle you're like, oh
Yeah. 10 is Might or Will. 11 is Devastating Charge. Whilst mounted, when the hero charges into combat against one or more man-sized or smaller models, roll a d6 for each. On a 5+, that model is immediately knocked prone. I mean, yeah.
That. Oh yeah.
That's what you've got. That's what Goat Riders have. Yeah, I mean, but best of luck with that. But let's be honest. If someone charged into you with a horse, chances are that you're going to get knocked over. So it makes sense. But
Yeah.
it's a great rule and very, very difficult to. I mean, and the thing is that with a 12-inch movement potentially as well. Just god, yeah. It's
I mean,
it's
if you
a
had
good rule.
yeah, no, it's the Path of the Night's quite a nice one. It is.
Yeah, and then 12 you've got Skillful Rider. So whilst mounted, the hero treats difficult terrain as open ground. I mean, that is game changing.
But again, just literally how the battlefield set up. You're just doesn't matter. But you're like the crow flies straight through it, aren't you? You know.
Yeah.
So, you know.
I mean, normally your difficult terrain for cavalry is like quarter movement. But yeah, you roll that and it's like, yep, we're going straight through that.
Yeah.
Just
No.
change the things entirely.
So.
Yes, and the only kind of magic that exists.
Yeah, so the next one is Path of the Sorcerer. So I've never really. So I'll go. Sorry. Yeah, I've never used this before. So again, help me if I don't get some of these rules. So the hero gains a +1 will point, as well as it immobilize and transfix. That's on a 12-inch magical power, which can be cast on a 5+. I hate this. Chris has used it on me. It's frustrating. A hero on this path gains 1 experience point in a game in which they successfully cast a spell. So that's so on a roll of a 2, a Master of Magic, the hero may reroll 1s when making casting or resist tests.
I mean,
so
great. Just
it's kind of handy to have.
Super useful. I mean, there's so little will available in battle companies. So if you've got I mean, quite often you go, right, I've got 3 will. I really want the spell to go off. I'm going to roll all 3 dice to make it happen. You roll all 3. If any of those are 1s, you get to re-roll them.
Yeah.
So I mean, the chances of it is massively did increase the chances of spells going off. Particularly if you only need like a 3+ or something like that. Then
Yeah.
unless you roll a 2, then you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So-
just great. Yeah.
The next one is Sorcerous Blast. The hero gains the Sorcerous Blast, 6-inch magical power. This is cast on a 6+. If this result is rolled for a second time, improve its casting value to 5+. The 5+. So Sorcerous Blast. What is that?
Surely you remember. I mean, my Farharad sorcerer just loved
What?
blasting you with it. Basically, it's if I remember rightly, I think it causes a strength 5 hit to.
That's right.
To whoever it's cast upon. Then they get thrown back d6 inches, and whoever they collide into takes a strength 3 hit. So.
Yeah. No, I do remember that. I remember you getting Lance on that, and yeah, and then also getting the transfix and mobilized as well, hitting my guys as well was not fun. So
Yeah.
Number 4 is Courage to a maximum of 5. Number 5 is Wounds to a maximum of 3. Number 6 is Battle Mage. The hero gains the Resistant to Magic special rule. In addition, the hero may now use the Heroic Channeling heroic action in addition to any others they may have access to.
Shall I take over on this one?
Yeah, go on.
So, the resistance to magic means that you get to have a free dice roll when resisting a magical power. So you normally have to spend a will point to resist magical powers. This gives you a free one. Heroic channeling. So you spend a point of might, and it then essentially it changes the power of the spell. So depending on what spell you're casting, it may make it a further range, or make I think Sorcerer's Blast, it turns into a strength 6 hit and a strength 4 hit rather than a 5 and a 3, or something along the lines of that. So I mean, it probably involves a bit of rulebook checking when you're playing the game, but yeah, it changes how you're able to do stuff. But yeah, it's like one of the few paths I think where 6 isn't strength and defense. So
Yeah, no, that's it. 7 is Immobilized Transfix. The hero improves Immobilized Transfix magical power. That's the one that they start with. This now casts on the 4+. If this result is rolled for a second time, it improves its casting value to 3+. So it's it's an annoying.
it's a really useful spell. I mean, it just, particularly if someone's coming through a gap and you just block the front person off, it's like, yeah, you can't get around them.
Yeah. So no, it is good. Like, and there's been times when I've been making moves and then I get stopped, and then it changes. It changes the battle. It does. Yeah. So next one is 8 is Might or Will. 9 is Command Compel. The hero gains Command Compel, 12-inch magical power. This casts on a 5+. If this rolls for a second time, it goes to 4+. This one is also bloody annoying to fight against, because I'm going to move in here. I'm going to do Command Compel. How far can you move them? You can move
half the distance. So
yeah.
But yeah, it's a really. I mean, what's good about this is it's the sort of thing where you can use it to make them move even after they've moved their full distance. So, what I love about the casting magic is that you can have a sorcerer hiding behind something. They can move out 3 inches or whatever, cast their spell, maybe do Command Compel and make one guy come out, and then they can move 3 inches back into cover again. It's great. So you can just drag someone out of their battle line and just get completely pounced upon by everyone else. So yeah, Command Compel is nasty.
It is nasty. I think you made it once that you put me into charge range of a troll. Like, I was out of the way, and then you pulled me just into it. It's just like, and then got slaughtered, and I was just like, that's so annoying. But again, really handy it is.
Yep.
10 is Terrifying Aura. The hero gains the Terrifying Aura magical power. This is cast on a 3+. If this result is rolled for a second time, improves 2+. So
basically, it gives you terror for one turn. So yeah. I mean, I would say that Command Compel is more powerful than Terrifying Aura. I think that terror, spending your will points to have terror for one turn, is so niche that it's very, like with a lot of these, situational. So it's a great rule to have when you need it. So if you're holding down an objective, and you've got a couple of will points left, and you can cast it on a 3 or a 2, and then that means that you can't, like, you're making it harder to get charged. I mean, it gives your opponent something to think about, right? So it's never a bad thing.
11 is Wise Advice. Once per turn, the hero may allow one friendly model within 6 inches to re-roll a single d6 during a dual roll.
I mean, it's like I said earlier, banners are hard to come by. So because what's interesting here is that it's 6 inches, which is useful.
Yeah.
And I mean, it says allow one friendly model. Is he a friend to himself? So maybe he gives himself a reroll. I don't know. I mean, that's probably stretching a little bit. I mean, in the main game, banners are in range of themselves. So I don't know. And onto the biggie that I've never rolled, which is just
Staff of Power. So what is Staff of Power?
It means you get a free will point every single turn.
So you then just get to magic every turn.
You can do magic every single turn, whereas normally with a sorcerer in battle companies, you might get 2 spells a game if you're lucky. So having a chance to cast a spell every single turn is massive. And this is, I think if you're going to go Path of the Sorcerer, it's the sort of thing where normally I haven't chosen it and then I've picked it later on just for fun. But I feel like if you're gonna, it's a great thing for a leader to have. If it's not, if you're not, if you're like you've got a horde army, like you've got a goblin army, something like that, and where your leader's maybe not going to be a massive big hitter like an Isengard leader might be, then go Path of the Sorcerer for them. Get as many upgrades as you can in that. Yeah, but
no,
cool
I like it. It's an interesting one. It is.
Now, Path of the Minstrel. I'd probably say this is probably the weakest path. I mean, it's based upon like the Wood Elf Sentinel type thing. I've had one model have it ever, and I've not really played them enough. But there's some stuff in there. So only one per battle company. That's same with the Sorcerers. Only one per battle company. The hero gains the Magical Song special rule. Magical Song. During movement, the hero may elect to sing a melody chosen from their repertoire, granting bonuses to friendly models around them. However, the magical effects of the song end if the hero is engaged. The hero also gains their first melody, the Melody of Valor. All friendly models within 6 inches receive +1 to their courage value until the end of the turn. So, yeah, straight off the bat. I mean, the thing is, it doesn't cost any might and it doesn't cost any will or anything. You can just sing the song. So, you can that is the song. I didn't realise you'd heard it before.
I'm very courageous with that song.
Yeah. So, yeah, straight off the bat. I mean, as long as they don't get charged, then you can just have +1 to your courage value for that turn. Which is kind of, which is useful, particularly end game. Right, but then it's keeping them unengaged. That's the issue. As soon as they get engaged, it's done. But maybe it's too late at that point. I don't know. Anyway, so roll of a 2-part harmony. The hero may elect to apply the effects of 2 melodies to their magical song rather than 1. Useful. We'll get into what the melodies are in a minute. 3, Far Song. The hero increases the range of the magical song by 3 inches. This may only be improved twice. Melody of Glory. All friendly models within 3 inches of the minstrel are treated as being within range of a banner. That there is why you take it for the banner. I mean, and then so if you get the Melody of Glory and then you get the Far Song, then you've got a 6-inch banner. But if they get charged, they're not a banner anymore. So they're not a banner. They have to be within 6 inches but not get charged. So tough.
That's really difficult to do that unless they're just sat behind people, isn't it?
Yeah. So positionally, it makes it interesting, but yeah. 5 is attacks or wounds. 6 is defense. 7, Melody of Despair. Enemy models within 6 inches reduce their courage by 1. This is not cumulative with other with similar effects. So situationally, I mean, end game, it's like, yeah, I'm going to start by playing this, or by singing this song, and you're all around me, and I'm not going to charge you, and you guys have to pass your courage test with a -1. I mean,
I've literally all I can see when this minstrel just reminds me of the guys on the Titanic going down. Like
there with his violin. 8 is Fight or Shoot. 9, Melody of Finesse. Affected models within 3 inches do not suffer the negative side effect of special strikes they declare. So, when you declare any special strike, there is a negative impact for it. That's and you just don't have that anymore. So if you do a double-handed strike, you're not getting the -1 penalty. If you're doing a piercing strike, you're not losing your defense. So yeah, it's useful again, but very situational. 10 is Might and Will. 11, Melody of Disdain. Enemy models within 3 inches don't benefit from Standfast. Enemy heroes within 3 inches cannot call a Standfast. I mean, that's. I mean, these seem like such an end game character.
It feels like an end game character. My concerns on this character is how you get him up to all of this kind of things, because for him to be any good, you don't want him in combat. But then I suppose if you fight him enough in the game, and it's end of campaign even character, if you get me, like, you know.
Yeah, I mean, and 12 is Instrument of War. I mean, this is what you want to roll straight away. I mean, you always want to roll 12 straight away, pretty much. The effects of the hero's magical song are no longer negated by being engaged. So,
Yeah.
that completely changes how you use them as a model. So, I mean, maybe I should give it a go with someone, but I don't think I'd ever want to take it as my leader or with my sergeants. I think it would be the sort of thing where you go, you know what, I've got a path, I've got someone on a here in the making. Let's do something a little bit different. You know, it's useful in places, but it's the sort of thing where I feel like you need a whole bunch of these upgrades for it to be good.
Yeah. It's kind of like, to be honest, if I was using this fella, I'd still be fighting him as normal, hoping I'm getting the attack, defense, the wounds, them coming up, like, you know, during the game, to get enough experience to be able to get the other. It's a lot of work to get them where you want them to get, and it's for possibly 2 or 3 battles at the end of the campaign, isn't it? Like, you know, but I mean, for thematics, if you manage to get that, you got that person right up to the end, and then, like, you know, just thematically, like, you know, Melody of Despair, putting everyone down, wins a battle. You know what I'm saying? It could be quite groundbreaking. Thematically, it could be good fun, like, you know. But he's not on my starting. There's not a starting roster path to take.
Yeah, I think I completely agree. Like, I think that I would probably use this for some archer that's done enough stuff, and then he can fight around and do his stuff, and then when he gets good enough later on, then you use him entirely differently. But not a starting roster, as you said.
Yeah. So moving over, so this one is Path of the Beast. So I've not experienced this one before. So going into it, only hero models that are a warg or spider may embark on the Path of the Beast. But that answers that, why I've never experienced it. Warg and spider models may only ever embark on the Path of the Beast or Path of the Stalker. See below. So that's the next one after this. So on the 2 is Blood and Glory. The hero gains the Blood and Glory special rule.
So that was the regaining might one that was on Path of the Duelist as well.
That's it, yeah. On the 3 is Bestial Charge. The hero gains a knock to the ground and extra attack bonuses when it charges exactly as if it were a cavalry model. Nice.
Yeah, I mean, this, like, I think a lot of people don't realise that wargs and spiders wargs particularly are just treated as infantry. So if they get charged by a cavalry model, then, you know, it's the extra attack and the thing. So them being able to have that power is great.
Yeah. 4 is Courage, 5 is Attack Wound, 6 is Strength Defense, 7 is Terror, so they gained the Terror special rule, again, which is dead handy.
Yeah, I mean, as they should have. They've got big scary warg or spider. They should be terrifying.
They should, but I mean, Terror is difficult if you've got low courage models, like, you know, I mean, even having reasonable ones. When I had Rohan against your troll, it was hard work, like, you know, there was times when just we're going to charge from no one up. So, you know, it's a handy thing to have. 8 is Fight, 9 is Felsight, so again, being able to charge without seeing, which is beautiful.
Imagine dealing with like a spider that's got 10-inch movement that doesn't have to have line of sight.
It just literally runs from the other, from round.
Particularly like spiders can like climb up the side of anything. They're not slowed down by anything. Just go, I'm going to climb up the side of this building and attack you, even though I couldn't see you. Amazing.
That literally takes any terrain, like any towers, any buildings, anything higher. You know, that's hard work, like, you know.
Sure.
So they'll take you. 10 is Might or Will. 11 is Heroic Strength. The hero in it may now use a Heroic Strength.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then 12 is brutal power. The hero gains the ability to use barge and rend. They're nice. That's
And
nice.
Rend, I've used a hell of a lot. I mean, I've used wargs and spiders a fair amount. Wargs more so. So I've had a Dol Guldur company, and I had Mr. Biscuits, who was a warg, as my leader, and yeah, that company just went on for ages. So I've pretty much got all of these special rules. But having like Rend in particular, so with Rend, that's where you roll against the enemy model's strength rather than their defense. So, if you think that most man-sized models are going to be strength 3,
Yeah.
if you're if you're if you're a spider, you're starting at strength 5. So strength 5 on against strength 3 will be a 3 to wound. Just ugh.
That's not nice.
And barge I've used a little bit, but not a lot. But yeah, it's very situational. But when in the right sort of situations, it's fantastic. So basically, if you win a combat, it means you can push everyone back and then charge into another model.
Again, so that's just like what was the other one?
So just basically, you become a battering ram, basically.
Yeah. So no, it's interesting. I mean, they're not bad. A lot of that's not bad, but obviously that depends. Your company, you got to have a wargs or spiders in it, like so it limits who you can use.
Yeah, but it's and what's annoying is that there aren't any companies that start with a spider, so
Yeah.
you can only. It's difficult to get the spiders on good stuff. Because first of all you have to get them, which isn't the easiest thing to get. I think the Kirith Ungol one's got giant spiders, more accessible, but in like Dol Guldur and things like that, they are not. They are special chart and then a high number, so not the easiest thing to get. Yeah, so onto the path of the Stalker. So like same with the path of the Beast, it has to be a warg or a spider, and that's the only path they can take. So the hero gains the Mercenary Ambush special rule, counting as a Mercenary Goblin Captain. See the Mercenary Goblin Captain. So that is if you want to look that up and read that yourself, that is in the armies of the Hobbits. So you can find the special rule in there. But essentially what it means is that anyone who has the Mercenary Ambush rule, which can be the warg or the warg or spider itself, and I think some goblins have it as well. But you can decide to not deploy them at the start of the game, and then from the end of the movement phase on turn 2 onwards, you take a courage test. If you pass that courage test, then you can deploy whoever you didn't deploy anywhere within a piece of terrain on the board.
Nice.
So if you've got something where you've got multiple objectives, or there's something with a central objective, you could just have a whole bunch of guys just turn up right in the middle of the board.
Yeah.
So, I've used this to great effect. Not with wargs, to be fair, but the Mercenary Goblin Captain special rule I've used with a Gundabad company. And yeah, absolutely game changing if you can get them on there. But wargs are courage 2, and I'm not sure what spiders are. I can't remember off the top of my head. But so it's not the easiest courage test to pass. So I have had it before where I go, yeah, these guys aren't going to turn up, and then they just don't turn up, and they don't turn up, and they don't turn up, and you're just down on numbers for the rest of the game. So yeah, that's an interesting thing about Path of the Stalker to begin with. So beginning with, in terms of your upgrades, a roll of a 2 allows you to increase your movement by 1 inch, and it can be improved twice. So 12-inch moving warg or spider, particularly spider, terrifying. 3 merge into the shadows. So we had this earlier. So if they're obscured from view at all, they cannot be targeted from distance of more than 6 inches. Again, perfect fit with the idea of it being a stalker. 4 is courage, 5 is attacks or wounds, but they can't be increased by
more than 2.
They can't exceed 2. spiders start with 2 attacks, 2 wounds, so it's Anyway, strength defense, they can only be improved once. Keen sight, so they get the fell sight special rule, and they ignore the effects of fighting in the dark. 8 increases the fight value up to a maximum of 5. Spiders start on. I mean, it's kind of good that they start on fight 5 for spiders, and they start with the 2 attacks, 2 wounds, because it means that automatically you have to re-roll that to get something different. Festering strike is number 9. So the hero treats their strikes as if they were poisoned. If they already have poison strikes, they gain the venom special rule, which so poison means that you re-roll 1s to wound. Venom means you re-roll everything to wound.
Nice.
So that can be pretty dirty. 10 is might or will. 11 is heroic strike. Very situational but useful. And 12 is master of terrain, which means that the hero is not slowed by any terrain, by terrain of any type, which again spiders have anyway. I mean, I think they've probably sorted this out like this so that spiders do get to have some of the other stuff, because they've already got the fights, they've already got the master of terrain, they've already got the attacks and wounds, so, and they've already got terror.
Yeah.
Although that isn't on there because I'm thinking of the other one, but yeah. It's interesting to have these on. So with my Dol Guldur company, I had 2 wargs. One was the leader, one was the sergeant, and I put one on the path of the beast and one on the path of the stalker, and they're really great fun. But I just think playing with like monster models and beast models or whatever when you're playing in a small numbers game is really good fun. So,
it would be deadly to play against, like, so
yeah,
I think.
So that's all of them. That is all 14 paths gone into in quite some detail. It feels like you've learned quite a lot today, Stephen.
I'll be honest with you, I've literally just changed 2 of my people round. So I've got
which ones have you really? I mean, I'm guessing skirmish is one of them.
Skirmisher is one of them, and Defender, actually, going in with Defender, because straight off the bat, being able to have someone going in without a shield. So I've got, my what it is we've got a new Battle Companies campaign that we're starting up, isn't it, Chris? Yeah. And I've got Uruk-hai, and I've got the Uruk-hai. They start on Defense 5, it seems. Uruk-hai. I got it wrong.
Defense 4, and then some of them got
shield. Yeah, so that's it. So, like, going in, so having 3 of them going in straight off the bat on defense 5, and having fight value 4, and strength 4, like, they're pretty formidable to start with. So I've changed one of them over to Defender, Skirmisher as well, because I really like the sound of it, and I've got General, so because I think it's just a good one to have, like, but it's it'll be interesting to see. I've got 3 different paths there. It just sees how many people I can gain during, and you kind of split my battle company up a bit, like, so I got some sneaky, I got some defensy, and then I got the general for more chargey. So but yeah,
you seem to have a plan.
I always have a... See, what happens, guys, is every time I have a plan, I'm always going to Chris, it's like, what are you going to do? So I got a plan. I don't have a plan.
No, really has a plan.
I kind of...
He talks a big game about having plans. Never has a plan. But, yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. Having kind of read through it, and gone through it with a fine-tooth comb on this podcast, I do think that I might have to give the Path of the Martyr another chance with somebody, because it's like, and I may have to just do something. I mean, look, we play this game for fun, right? So I often think, what would be the coolest thing to, like, what would be like? What would give me the best chance of winning? What's going to make this guy the most formidable? It's like, well, I'll tell you what. Why don't I just have some goblin dude who sings songs to his mates to get the courage value up?
Yeah.
Like, why not have a goblin that's just that's a martyr? Like, yeah, he's going to be defense 4, and he's gonna have one wound and one fate, and he's gonna pass a fate on the. He has to roll 2 dice for it. It's like, oh my god, he's just gonna die, but it's fun.
No, I was literally, I was thinking, so it's like, I want to do Path of the Martyr, and on the upgrades, if I got all the way up to a Yokai Berserker, is what I'd be tempted to use Path of the Martyr on. Because,
Berserker with Path of the Martyr would be, yeah.
It's there, so I've been, so to be fair, this time round going into it, having gone through everything that we've gone through in quite a bit of detail, it has, like you said, Path of the Martyr, and actually, I was putting it off when we're going through it, but I was thinking, no, I was just looking at mine there. If I got Yokai Berserker on Path of the Martyr, he's got defense 5, his fights 4, strength 4, he's got 2 attacks, so, and then just with all the things like you shall not pass, if I stuck him on the bridge, those kind of things, they're the kind of ones that I think will be quite, even if you just manage to hold someone off for a turn, that could be enough,
Yeah, and I think the big thing with paths is it's all about making. I mean, sometimes you choose them based entirely on like theme. So yeah. You'll have like a theme for your company, and we'll go into some of the companies. We're going through all the companies in later episodes. And sometimes you go, yeah, well, of course he's got to be this because this is basically Aragorn. So he has to be whatever you feel like Aragorn, like it has to be a ranger because this is early days Aragorn or whatever. Sometimes you go, well, what's going to give me the best chance of winning? What I've got this type of model. What's going to make him, give him the best chance? But sometimes just go, you know what? I played this game for fun. What's going to be the most fun?
I think the biggest thing for me is I have fun. It's playing for thematics and for fun. And some of these ones, like that minstrel one, I'll be honest, we got to see how it goes. But in my head, like I was thinking if I had a Hobbit army with general minstrel, going in like that. It's just like, I love nothing more than the idea if you had a minstrel and you had a general or something like that, and just manage to up those courages and up everything up just little bits, like and get the re-rolls and stuff. They could just be just one of those tricky little armies to play with,
I think that like Path of the Minstrel and a Horde army where you've got lots of them, and he's got some shielding from getting charged. Yeah, but yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting to think about, and it's not the sort of thing I lie awake at night. But sometimes when I'm thinking about the next company I'm going to do, is like, oh yeah, I could put him on. Be interesting to put him on Path of the Defender.
Yeah.
Right, I'm gonna finish this off by asking you, out of all of the paths, which one is your favourite?
No, it goes straight back to, it's literally, I know I'm not using it this time round, it's the very first one. It's just standard, it works every time. It's one of the first hero in the making that I use, Path of the Warrior, just straight off the bat. It's just decent, it's got solid. A lot of good stuff. It's just a solid. You don't need anything else. Just even getting one or two of the other things in there, like a heavy impact, the Oblivion's to pay, anything in there, just straight off the bat makes him a little bit more punchy. But I'm not using him as a start for once. I actually changed him out. I did. Yes. So yeah, because I want to stretch my legs a bit and have a bit of fun.
Absolutely. I mean, look. Path of the Warrior, it's absolutely solid. There's not really anything wrong with it whatsoever. It's got some really good stuff in it. So I'm going to answer my own question. I mean,
I was going to ask you.
Let me just look at something quickly. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I've got 15 companies on Battle Companies Manager. That's a lot of companies. So I've used a lot of. I think I've used basically every single path. But I think out of all of them, I'm going to have 2 because I can. Because shut up. That's why. I'm gonna have two, only because one is Path of the Beast. I just think that like having a warg and being able to like really beef it up is just really fun.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of a warg being a hero. It's just great. Yeah, Mr. Biscuits is one of my all-time favorite models that I've played with. Even if he got kind of never seems to get above fight 4, but whatever.
Yeah.
And outside of that, I'm a big fan of. I'm scrolling through them. I think half of the sorcerer.
I have been on the receiving end of that being used well. Like, it was frustrating to play against. You had Path of the Sorcerer, and then you had someone was Tortoise, the defender with Tortoise and everything around it, and it was just I couldn't get to him, And my archers, I only had stronger bows. That was it. That would be the only thing that could have made a difference in it. But yeah.
Yeah, I ended up with a 3-wound sorcerer that had the shield, so he was defense 5. He was great and really cool model as well. So
He was,
really cool model. But I think that I had such trouble, and I think this is why I love the community rules so much, is that I could easily have chosen another 4 and not felt bad about it. I could easily said, you know what, defender's actually better. Look, it depends. It depends so much on the army that you're playing with. It really does. So yeah, very very difficult to choose. But then I'm thinking skirmish is really cool because I'm thinking of my Watcher of Kana leader. He's awesome. And then I'm thinking Path of the Ranger because my Dolgador Hunter Orc is like Sergeant. He was like absolutely epic. The one I spoke about earlier, ended up being potentially fight 6 with 4 attacks. Tough.
It is tough.
But yeah, I think that. Do you think there's anything more to say about hero paths, or do you think we've said?
No,
the
only thing again is look, I'll say straight off the bat, Middle-earth Battle Strategy game itself is brilliant, and the way that the Games Workshop did the rules for the game was brilliant. But what they did with the battle companies with the path, the paths were not fantastic. The community rules have evened them up a lot more and made them a lot better. And just the thing is, you could end up with someone who had a ranger. If you went by the normal rules, and after a few rolls and upgrades, they're just impossible to play against. Where this one is a lot more. You get some good upgrades, and then you get some not so great upgrades. But I think that's it. They've done a good job with it, the community, and yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I mean the paths before were just ridiculous. So basically, if you imagine all of the best things from Path of the Warrior and Path of the Duelist all put into one path, I think that's basically what the original Path of the Warrior was. Everything that's good on Path of the Ranger and Path of the Sharpshooter in the community rules was just on Path of the Ranger. So you could potentially be in a situation with the original Path of the Ranger where you could move full, shoot without the -1, be shooting twice, be hitting on 3s. And re-rolling 1s to wound and having a 3 point of might.
Yeah,
it's it's all of that in one pass. It's like, dude, it's a skirmish game. It's a little game.
Yeah,
you can't be having basically full blown Legolas.
Yeah,
turning up.
And it
just doesn't make sense.
It's too overpowered. It is for what it is, So no, it's definitely the community have done a fantastic job of it, and it's just why we play the community rule. I mean, the game itself, like I said, the rules are really easy to play. The community have just made battle companies a lot more fun. So
a lot more fun, a lot more balanced, and a lot more varied. I mean, there's so many more companies. We're going to be going through all the companies in later episodes, as I said. I mean, I've already shown you in this episode that they've gone up to kind of 14 hero paths, and not only the more hero paths, but there's more variety and more chance to be themey, more chance to be fun with it. So
that's it.
Yeah. Anything else left to say on it, or should I call it a day?
I think I'm good there. I am. I'm good. I think.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us for this episode of the Good Enough Battle Companies podcast. My name's Chris Piercy of Good Enough Scenery, joined as ever by Stephen Manton Kelly of When I Can Hobby. And tune in for the next episode where we'll be beginning to dive into the different companies. So stay tuned for that.